I saw John Cena and I instantly ran to my phone and I said, I'm not even passing up this moment. I need to tell this man what I need to tell this man. I looked at John Cena in his face and I said, firstly, of course, I said, I couldn't even help myself. I said, John, I've been waiting to do that my whole life. My best friend loves you, and I want you to know that I plan to be better than you.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Bonjour, you're watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad, and today we have an amazing show and, of course, nothing but amazing guests. She's a former track athlete turned pro wrestler hailing from the beautiful country of the Bahamas. You've seen her on WWE, BGW, ACW, and now WOW. Please welcome Kaylia Capri. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm feeling so good. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm excited. Let's get into the conversation.
I'm excited too. I'm always for those people who know me, I always love my island girls. So I'm just gonna let people behind the curtain. So I was at the WOW tapings back in December, and I saw you, and I was like, "Wait, who's this with the carnival costume on?" So I had to immediately interview you, and lo and behold, I ended up seeing you in Philly, and I was like, I need to know all the stories, because it's one thing to be somebody from the islands that is, born in America. It's a little bit easier because there's a lot of wrestling promotions, a lot more opportunities, I feel. But for somebody to be born in the Bahamas, and then I find out you're a former track athlete, also myself being a former track athlete, I was like, your story I already know has some twists and turns that we all got to know about. So let's take it all the way back before wrestling.
Yeah.
So tell us about that Bahamas life. Tell us how we got here.
So in the Bahamas, it all starts out as a humble living. Like any other person of color, especially. I think we all start out with a humble beginning. I was born in Nassau, Bahamas. I grew up on Carmichael Road. My street was actually called Hamster Road, which is so funny to me because I think that was like the first thing that people remembered about me. They knew I lived on a road that was called Hamster Road. And I pretty much grew up outside. I didn't really have a phone. I wasn't connected to social media like I am right now. I grew up outside, climbing trees, picking coconuts, building, just finding stuff to do, finding stuff to get myself active and really test myself and see what kind of things that I was good at. I have 3 other siblings that I grew up with. Um, I'm the oldest, of course, and I had to be the trial and error kid. I think that's what all older siblings could like agree to. We always the trial and error kids. So it was a lot growing up. I went to a school called St. John's College. In the Bahamas, we have a lot of high schools that literally are called colleges, which is hilarious. But I grew up there and I went to St. John's College from my preparatory all the way to through high school. And I ended up graduating and going straight to Texas Southern University in Houston, Texas. But while in the Bahamas, I ran track. I started running track maybe in my 10th grade year. And that's when I actually started opening up to my people, when I started showing my true self and actually finding myself, because I really would go to sleep thinking it's something for me in this world that I need to figure out. It's something that I'm just not doing or missing, or it was just a feeling that drove me to aspire to be a track star. And when I did start, I started out with very little self-esteem. I did not know how good I was. I felt like I just was not going to sum up to a lot of the women that run track and who were amazing. Okay. And during my time, it was like some fierce competitors, but I kept strong. And I think that's how I started building up my own personal strength. I stayed strong and I stayed committed to my path. And I started trusting in the process. That's what I actually started doing. I started committing to the fact that it's going to be a fight. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. I would pray before every single track meet, and my prayer would literally go, Alexis, is never going to be easy. And you can't pray for success. The only thing you can pray for is to be prepared for the fight, to be ready to grind, to be ready to fall down and pick yourself back up, because it's never just direct. It's never just a win, win, win.
Yeah.
So I began that process of preparing my mind for a fight, which is
What
crazy
did you
because I
run?
guess I foreshadowed something for myself.
What events did you run?
So I ran the 100, the 200, the 400, the 4x1, and the 4x4. And I
Yeah.
actually jumped a little bit, but
Yeah.
I just dabbled in that.
We're the same. We're the same. I definitely, yeah. Was it, just like, do you want to jump? I was like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah. Sure.
But here's the thing. Getting recruited, and the school you went to is not a small school. So getting recruited by that school, how did that, like, were you the top in your class, or how did you get discovered, or how did that, because for me, I ran away from home, and like I decided, like, well, the best place to be is in the States. Like, you guys are gonna see me, I need to be here. So that's how I kind of, and it's a little bit unorthodox. So like, how did you kind of get to the track scholarship?
So it was so crazy. Like I said, I was working on the confidence. I honestly was not running times that big colleges such as Texas Southern would actually look at to out the gate offer you a scholarship from high school. So I actually just applied to Texas Southern and ended up getting my admissions there. And when I got there, I walked past the track. I did not believe that I was capable of being a huge factor on the track team. So I didn't plan on actually running track in college until I
Wow.
walked past and walked past and walked past and walked past. And my soul was burning. And I was like, you know what? I have to see when the track and field tryouts was. I found out when it was, and I reached out to Coach Banks. I submitted all of my paperwork that she needed, and I did the tryout. She came to me immediately after the tryout and said, "You're going to be at practice at 9 a.m. on Monday. You're going to be at practice at 3 a.m. on Monday. Be there, be ready, because we need you on this team." And that's kind of when my eyes opened up, and I said, okay, maybe I'm not seeing something in myself that someone else is seeing. So let's give track a real try. Let's really commit to it. Let's really go hard, and let's see how far we could go. And from that point, I had a Bahamian coach come over at the time. His name was Coach Claire. It just clicked. That was my sophomore year. My freshman year was just an introductory year. I had a lot of seniors that I could depend on, and they pushed me. But when Coach Claire came there, I think because we both were Bahamian, it was easy for me to connect with him, and it was easy for him to get me to understand what it was going to take for me to be able to take it to the next level. And in my sophomore year, when I broke 24 seconds and I ran 23 seconds in the 200, that's when I was like, okay, I'm good at track. I'm good at track. And from there, my confidence rose. My teammates started seeing me more as a leader. I started seeing myself more as a leader, and I started to see my talents shine. I actually started to believe in myself, and I said, you know what, Mike, I need to set goals for myself. So that's when I began saying, you know what, first goal, break 24. Second goal, make it to regionals. Third goal, make it to nationals. So that is how I set up my track career based on, so that I can stay focused and continue to push forward to that.
Yeah. For you guys who don't know, 24, because I remember when I broke 24 too, and the lateness. For you guys who don't know, 24 is like, you're part of this, like this club. You're good enough to be at a university running track, but you in the middle of pack. When you break 24, like, that means that you're going to a different level. So I know she said it like, when I broke 24, it's just that's nothing to take lightly, y'all. That's not easy to do.
Yeah, that 1 second is everything.
And all the steps involved to put. I really love track for that, because same thing. I ran all the sprints, but you take the 100-meter, as you break it up, and it's all about the steps. It's all about the positioning. And you work months and years to perfect that, to just get to that. So it's, you know, that hard work is definitely there. So, you know, did you end up making nationals?
So sadly, I did not end up making nationals just because it's always ups and downs
Mm-hmm.
when you are on your path. And I think my downfall was I began to just not push. I began to get complacent with running 23 because it was enough to win SWAC. It was enough to get me a bunch of medals. It was enough to get me to regionals. It was just enough. And when you get complacent, sometimes you don't even realize you are complacent. I had to deal with a lot of coach switching, a lot of training switching up, and just
Mm-hmm.
having to depend on myself as well, because not only was I getting complacent, but my team was getting complacent with the fact that we don't need to be fast in the 100 because she's fast in the 100. We don't need to be fast in the 200 because she's fast. You know, it all became, we don't need to do it anymore because Lexi is going to do it for us. And my team at that time, the mindset was so contagious that everybody just focused on the one thing that they was good at. And if someone was better than them, it became, okay, well, I could just train to make it to the finals with her, but she's going to win it for us, you know? And it wasn't a competition anymore. When we came to practice, it wasn't anyone trying to outrun me. It wasn't anyone trying to outlift me. It wasn't anyone trying to compete with me per se, because the mindset just was all very, very off, you know, for my year at least.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just pretty much why I feel like I made it to regionals. I got to regionals, and my biggest issue with myself at regionals was when I got there, I started doing things other than what I knew I was capable of. I wasn't trusting in my training. I went
Mm-hmm.
all out the gate. I went all out, and it was too much. Rather
Mm-hmm.
than me be confident, stay relaxed, stay comfortable, and truthfully believe in my training, truthfully believe in myself, I kind of blocked myself out mentally, and it pretty much caused me, you know. And I went to regionals twice, and it was pretty much the same mental block every single time.
Okay. Well, I mean, you didn't stop there. Like, you didn't let it block you completely. So, so you get to college, you run track, you break the 24, and now how do we go from there to wrestling, in particular to WWE?
So from there, I just started really committing to what I said I was going to do, which was trusting my training,
Mm-hmm.
believing that what God has for me, no one can take from me, and admitting to myself that it's gonna be those bad days, but on those bad days is when I truthfully have to lock in and truthfully believe in everything that I'm saying right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one day where I saw a WWE recruit. They sent me a DM. They were sending a lot of athletes DMs, which is what I found out when I got to the tryout. They were sending DMs. I saw the DM and I said, you know what, let me go ahead and apply. I went on WWE and I applied for a tryout. And at the moment, this is like God's like plan at this point, because I was in Houston, Texas. The
Mm-hmm.
tryout was in Dallas. WrestleMania was in Dallas. I got there. They sent me the videos. They sent me everything to prep me for the tryout.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily for me, like I said, I was outside climbing trees. I was outside building stuff. I did karate. I did gymnastics. I did soccer. I did swimming. I did volleyball. I am an athlete. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
lucky for me, um, I was pretty much prepared for this moment. I was focused on track. Track was more for my mental, but all those other sports was for my physical. And when I got there, catching on to the rolls, catching on to the bumps, catching on to everything was extremely easy for me
Mm-hmm.
personally. They had us doing like activities where they test our agility and our speed, and I ate it up. I was
Yeah.
like, next, like, all y'all tired? My adrenaline is still up. I'm still feeling good. I'm ready to go again. I'm ready to go again. Let's go again. Let's go again. And then when I was there, it was just the energy that made me so happy to be there, because I would walk out, and if they had us in groups, I would walk out. The other group would come and be like, oh my God, you Alexis, they just was talking about you. They just were literally like, you're so amazing. Like Coach Bloom and everybody were just talking about you. And it made me feel even more good about the fact that it's a strong possibility that I might get my contract. So sadly, I didn't get it at the tryout. I feel like for WWE, they've been in the business so long that they know it's more about entertainment rather than talent. I hate to say it,
No, it's a
but
combination. No, I get it.
it is a combination. But I feel like for them, it's t- having that entertainment value. It is a way greater weight. You know what I mean? The talent is, of course, makes it 100% across the board, but
Right.
that entertainment value is what they are looking for. And I think it goes based on your look. You know, I'm a petite woman. I have very petite body. I think in wrestling, your sex appeal is what actually really pushes you forward a lot more. And I was there with IG models. So that's why I feel this way. Like
Gotcha.
your sex appeal definitely pushes you further very much faster. And a lot of the ladies that did get their contract and, you know, they recorded them and they did the whole big, you know, show of, hey, this person got this person got this. I feel like, okay, if I'm at the tryout and y'all literally talking to groups of people about me, I should have got my contract that day. Triple A should have shook my hand that day. It should have been, Alexis, you have a quality that we do not have in WWE, and we want to show you that we appreciate you and we actually see you out the gate. You know, I feel like for me, my whole entire life has been, I have to prove myself. 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 I have to show people that I don't need you. You need me. And I have been doing a great job at proving that. So, boom, the tryout comes around. They call me back maybe a couple weeks later to tell me I got my contract. They took the contract because they did a social media sweep search or whatever, and they said that my tweets were controversial, and it was controversial to them because they are not of my culture and they're not a person of color. So I don't think a lot of the things I said were controversial, but to them it was, simply because they're not living in the same universe as us. And they pretty much took it, but I was able to speak to them. They are willing to speak to you. They are willing to understand. They're never just gonna sweep you to the side and be like, oh, no. They did not understand. They allowed me to explain myself, and then they gave me my contract back. It took me a while to get to WWE, simply because I had to finish up with college in order to get my OPT to work, and then so on and so on. Like, it was just a lot leading up to me getting to Orlando in last year of January.
Do you want to talk a little bit about, because again, it speaks to determination, right? Again, going through this immigration process is that everybody speak to, it's a different, there's no one way. So I don't know if you want to speak to, you know, how you get this contract, but immigration wise, like, you need to figure this thing out, because I don't know about you, but for me, immigration's like always been in the subconscious, in the background. Like, okay, well, I don't want to hang out with these folks because I don't need nothing to affect my immigration. Like, that's how I, you know, exist living in America. So I don't know if you want to speak to that, just, you know, mentally. That's just a whole nother level of things.
It truthfully is like a whole nother thing. I'll say, so when it comes to immigration and just these visas, it's very, very difficult, because it is like something's hanging over your head because you're in a rush to get a document that proves you are able to stay in the States for a real reason. You do have people who abuse like this power, which is why they implement these rules. So I cannot be mad at the fact that it's so tough. I cannot be mad at the immigration part of it. I could just work with what I got. My biggest thing is just that I want people to understand that when you go out of your way to get people who need these statuses, you have to treat them with some sort of sensitivity. You know what I mean? Like some type of time sensitivity at the fact that if you have me in the States wasting my time that they are allotting me to find a job, work at this job, establish myself at this job, and start creating my own brand before I actually submit an application for this job, I feel like you have to be at least time sensitive to the fact that if you are going to let someone go, you don't just toss them away in a manner that makes me feel like maybe it's not intentional and maybe it is business, but I'm still a person. I'm still a
Right.
real person. I'm still a person, a young woman trying to establish myself, and things like that is so detrimental to me. Like, had I not met who I met there and actually connected with who I connected with, I feel like I would literally just be out with no way of like following my dreams, no way of actually pushing myself and really immersing myself into the wrestling world. So with the visas, it's just a very tricky topic. It's very, very tricky. And I think if you are going out of your way to find people like that, the least you could do is implement a program that helps them at least establish themselves in another brand. If we don't want to now, you guys also have the power to help me go to another company and establish myself at that company, because you guys have the credibility. You know what I mean? People are going to listen. People are going to respect you. And you know for sure that I need a visa. You know that my life is dependent on having the correct credentials so that I can improve my lifestyle. And that's pretty much how I feel about like just being out and just being released in the way that I was released. I know it was not personal. I know they don't have any ill will against me. But at the end of the day, I have to stand on the fact that it was not a good way to release me, especially when my visa expired in December. I was released in September, the end of September. So that's not really much time. And my visa expired the beginning of December, which means I only had 1 month to find a new job, to try to apply for a new visa, to literally try to get myself in the door with a process that I have no idea about, because businesses handle this process in most cases. So it was a lot. It was a lot coming up to the release. But my time there was good. I learned a lot, and I'm a very fast learner. I spoke to a lot of the coaches, and they literally would tell me every day, like, you are very different. You have something, a quality that we need here at WWE. And literally, it's nobody like you. It's nobody that can copy you. It's nobody that can do the things you do, because of the way I do things, the way I express myself. I'm very original and I'm very creative on my own. And I know how important it is to respect the sport and really, really like put yourself in that sport and really commit to the sport. So when I was there, that's pretty much what I was focused on, like committing to wrestling. Yeah, I'm a track star. I'm a track star at heart, but now I need to be a wrestler at heart. And I committed to that. I committed to learning the craft and really understanding the logic and understanding why people wrestle. Why do people want to wake up every day with their back hurting, your elbow hurting? You got a bruise here, you got a bruise there. You don't even know where these bruises come from. And all you did was a lock up that day. Like, it literally was crazy. I had to understand that. And I was surrounded by a lot of people who were on the same page as me, who mentally understanding the sport and really respecting the sport. But I also was surrounded by people who just did it because they got the opportunity and they have the luck. You know what I mean? Like, to each his own. I can't knock anybody for getting handouts however they get their handouts. But for me personally, I knew I had to commit and I had to learn who I was in wrestling. And part of me thanks God that WWE did release me, because I don't think I would have learned what I have learned on the indies at WWE. I think at WWE, they have so much established talent, and these established talent are, they sharks to me. They sharks. I'm a guppy. They sharks. And it was a lot of like contradicting things. because you kind of make up something, but someone has something similar and this and that and the third, and you realize how difficult it is to actually separate yourself from the group, because
Yep. Established
we all
character.
train together, we talk together, we get to know one another, and it's kind of like you looking at a mirror image. Suddenly, you were just a singular person, but now you have a lot of mirror images of yourself. You have a lot of people talking, using your slang, talking the way you talk, dressing the way you dress, just taking little things and adding it to themselves to improve their look, to improve their character. And on the indies, I feel like it's way more independent. I feel like people commit to finding out who they are and being an individual, and they are willing to let you be an individual. They are willing to work with you and really really be there for you, as far as wrestling goes.
Yeah.
It's a different environment. WWE is very competitive and it's very cutthroat. The indies is still competitive, very cutthroat, but people are more understanding and more willing to help you learn and guide. So it was a very interesting experience, and I do thank them for that experience. And if they were to call me back and say, "Hey, come back," I know now I'm more wiser, and I actually have something to bring to the table now, as opposed to when I came before. I was just Alexis. Now I'm Kaylia Capri, and it's going to be a different conversation now.
So a couple questions with that, and we'll definitely move on from the WWE talk. What is one thing when you think of the good times there? What is one thing that comes to mind? And if you don't mind, because you mentioned it a couple of times on like how you got released, and I know there have been different ways how WWE has released talent. I remember there was one talent where they were at a basketball game and they just found out via Twitter. So I don't know if you want to talk about like how you got released from there, and then obviously you're still wrestling, but kind of piggybacking off of that, did you watch wrestling when you were growing up?
So I did watch wrestling when I was growing up. I was definitely a big Rey Mysterio fan. That's why I kind of wrestle like how I wrestle. I and it's so funny. I love the divas. Don't get me wrong. I always loved the divas, but I was always a tomboy at heart. So I was more moves. I was more moveset and logic match based rather than sexy appearance based. So I was always a Randy Orton fan. Undertaker was my guy. John Cena, of course, was my guy. When I seen him, I said, I couldn't even contain myself. Okay, I think this was the best memory I had at the PC. It was no phones, of course, no phones, no nothing, straight focus, get in that ring and really be focused. But my first day there, oh my God, they could not do this to the worst person. I saw John Cena and I instantly ran to my phone and I said, I'm not even passing up this moment. I need to tell this man what I need to tell this man. I looked at John Cena in his face and I said, firstly, of course, I said, myself. I said, John, I've been waiting to do that my whole life. My best friend loves you, and I want you to know that I plan to be better than you.
Oh,
I couldn't even help myself. I had to tell him that because that was my true, honest, like, that's what I've been wanting to tell him my whole life. Like, I'm going to be better than you. And it's not because his moves, it's because of how he moves people. He's a people's person, like, seriously. And I admired that about him, because to be like a Michael Jackson, to be like a Beyonce, a Nicki Minaj, that only comes once in a lifetime. And I think I'm that person, that once in a lifetime person who's going to bring that energy and cause 50,000, 80,000, 100,000 people to tune in to just see what I'm about to do because of the way I think. Like, and I connected with him on that. And John is such a cool person. He's such a down to earth, smart, and intelligent individual that he understood where I was coming from. He didn't see it as me saying I'm better than him. He saw it exactly, because that's what this generation is about. It's always about evolution. It's always about getting better. Someone is always going to be better than you, and they're going to be younger. It's going to be from the next generation, and it's up to us in the generation now to set the bar so high that when that young person comes up, that bar just is breaking the sky at this point. And that's what makes this world get better. That's what makes the generation work harder. That's what makes us evolve as human beings. And the fact that he understood me from saying that, it kind of gave me even more confidence, because I was like, wow, even John, if John Cena understands where I'm coming from, I can't do no wrong.
There it is. And then I don't know if you want to talk about like the release or how you
So
found out.
yes, so I was released. I wasn't released out of basketball game, thank God. I might have cried for real then, but I was released. I was home one day, and I just remember telling myself, "There's no way they'll release me." And instantly, when I said that, my phone rang. I saw WWE Inc. on my phone, and I knew exactly what it was.
Oh,
Um, I remember asking why. It really wasn't a reason. It wasn't like an absolute reason, like, "Oh, we don't need you" or anything like that. It was just simply like, it was names that we had to pick from, and your name was one of the names that we had to pick from. And I just kind of had to swallow that pill at the fact that, okay, y'all really didn't have a reason. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's their business. They have millions that they could choose from, and when you could pick, choose, and refuse, that's kind of how you run your business. And
mhm.
that's why it was up to me to say, Alexis, you don't need WWE. They need you.
Mhm.
Without us as wrestlers, they would not have a production. Without our personalities, they would not have a show. So they need us. And I said, you know what? And you have to also accept the fact that you are nobody. You are just Alexis. You know what I mean? You have nothing to bring to the table at this point in time. So if you really believe that you belong in WWE, prove it. That's it. Just prove it. It's and then things like I said, I met who I met there. Ryan Katz in particular, Coach Carino, Coach Smiley, so many
Mhm.
people, Coach Gerard, so many people who motivated me while I was there, who gave me little tips that I listened to, who just pushed me in the right way. Like even being friends with Jada Parker and Jasmine Nix and Carmen Petrovic, they motivated me. They showed me like, hey, this is what they're looking for. This is the mindset that you need to have. Like having people like that around me when I went to the Indies, their
Mhm.
their words just circulated in my head. And I said, you know what? It's actually not going to be as hard as I think, as long as I commit to what I want to do. And what I
Right.
want to do is wrestle. So I committed to it.
So now here we are, and like I said, I saw you in Philly at All Caribbean Wrestling, and I absolutely like love this promotion. Like I said in the very beginning, anything Caribbean, I'm all about. But the fact that shout out to JB traveling to the islands and bringing wrestling to the islands is just a beautiful thing, because I think everybody should experience it. It's a slice of just taking, because life be lifing. So it's a
Like,
slice of taking taking yourself outside of reality and really getting into what's happening. And absolutely loved her match at I think it should be up. If it's not, definitely check out
I don't think it's up
Caribbean.
yet, but it should be
Okay,
up.
it should be up, so look up for Philly Mania. But
Yay.
tell me how like that came about.
So with JB, it's so crazy. I'm telling you, it's just the divine faith. I did not do anything. I didn't go out of my way for anything. I think everything, as soon as I got released, it came to me. Like I said, I was a nobody. So for so many people to tune in, like when I tweeted I'm no longer with WWE, it blew up. When I say
Hmm.
blew up, I mean I had people from Greece hitting me up, telling me, "Hey, we are bringing wrestling to Greece, and we want you to be the first person to come." I'm
Oh,
setting
nice.
promotions with promotions in North Carolina, promotions in Georgia. Everyone's reaching out to me, and JB was the main one that spoke out to me the most. Him
Hmm.
and Omega from Blk Girlz Wrestling, they stood out to me the most for two reasons. Number one, they were in close proximity to Florida, so I said yes. Number two, all Caribbean. I am a Caribbean woman. Anything Caribbean, I want to be a part of, and I want to put
Hmm.
on the map, because at the end of the day, like we have a spice, a flavor, a culture that I think a lot of people love to watch. So I definitely wanted to be a part of a promotion like that. And number three, the women that they were connected with. When I saw Jada Stone, when I saw Maya World, when I saw Jocelyn, when I saw Sunny, when I saw all of these people that were working, Queen Aminata, when I saw all these women who are amazing, oh, to me are amazing, I said, this is my chance to work with them, to feel with how they work, to get up to speed, not only mentally but physically, on what it's like to be a dominant figure in wrestling. I jumped at the chance. I said yes, immediately yes. I said, oh yes, let me sign the contract. Let me see what you're talking about. And then even at WoW, when I saw Class Master, Gloria Glitter, Candy Crush, Princess Aussie, I was like, I need to get at this promotion because these women are going to show me if I belong here. And when I got there, I got positive responses. Like, they opened their arms to me so easily.
Wait. Let's pause on that because we have to see how you got to WoW first. So All Caribbean Wrestling, I saw you at Philly Mania. Shout out to them. They're gonna also be having I don't know what it's called, but they are gonna be having a promotion at in Bahamas. I think it's in Bahamas. June, end of June, July.
End of June, Bahama Bash.
So that's happening. And now when I first saw you was at WoW back in December. So now let's jump to WoW, because how did you, because WoW's on the West Coast, and not to say you can't travel, you can't get on a plane and all that stuff, but how did that happen?
So I had a good connection helping me get in touch with WoW, along with the fact, and this is once again divine power. I ended up meeting one of the ladies that work at WoW at a tryout for WWE. I remember sitting on, this was a day before my release. I remember sitting on the bench, speaking to her. Her name on WoW. Oh my goodness, her name on WoW. I know her name on WoW. It's not, I want to say Adriana Rizzo because I love Adriana Rizzo, but at the same time, she's not.
Oh, Gambino. Is it Gambino?
Miss Gambino. Thank you very much. I met Adriana Gambino at the WWE tryout, and I completely clicked with her that day. I remember DMing her after my release because she was telling me, about herself. I introduced myself and I told her, let's follow each other on social media. Let's get to know each other some more and train and really get into the mix of things. So she's actually contracted with WoW, and she was actually the person that connected me with David. And David told me Adriana Rizzo, in his eyes, is a person of status. He definitely trusts her word. So he's going to give me that tryout. I ended up emailing him and Ryan Robbins at the time, who was working there. I emailed them. They said, you know what? We'll bring you out to LA. We'll give you a little tryout with Selena. If Selena likes you, we will go ahead and give you that contract. When I got there and I met Selena, it was like starstruck. Because firstly, that's an OG. That's an OG. Okay? And the fact that I was able to meet her, I was like, oh my God, I have to show this lady I'm worth it. She tried me out and she was like, interesting. We like you. We have a lot that we think we can work with for you, and we want to go forward with giving you that contract. I was there for about a week. And after that, they told me December we start taping. Get your bags ready. You were about to be a wild superhero. And I completely spazzed. I literally was in the gym every day. I was like, I gotta learn to do moves. I gotta practice. I was literally freaking out. I was like, where am I gonna work out at? Where am I gonna train at? Like, I don't have $15,000 million to pay for an expensive gym and this and that and the third. And once again, the divine power just kept pushing me in the right direction. And that's how I ended up at Devon Dudley Academy. And Devon had met me at WWE. I don't remember absolutely talking to Devon, but Devon remembered speaking to me. He remembered seeing me. And he said, you know what, Alexis? I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you because I see something in you. And you should definitely not stop wrestling. And clearly you have a lot of opportunities that you need to take. So we're going to make sure we push you in the right direction. And mind you, when I was Malik Blade, he worked at Devon.B Academy, and he was one person when I was at WWE that said, hey, Devon definitely could help you. He could give you that aggression. He could give you that mindset. He could show you how you could use your body to really make yourself go from this big to this big. And I instantly ended up there. I started training with Devon, and I saw a click. I saw myself suddenly understand why I'm wrestling. And then that's when I kind of said, okay, now let's focus on WoW. I went to WoW. They helped me with the name Sierra Breeze. They helped me, get my gimmick together. And that was my first time recording in front of a live studio audience, ever being on TV. So I was so nervous. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know if I was going to like shine or if I was going to like be dull. But when I got there, Pink, she was so positive. She was like, don't be scared of me. Give it all you got.
Are you talking about Candy Crush?
No, Pink. She's a part of Penelope Pink.
Oh, Penelope Pink. Okay.
Penelope Pink. She was
sorry, you're the wrestler, so you go on the short terms. I'm like, Pink. Who's Pink?
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Penelope. Okay, cool.
I was so scared. I was in a corner, literally overthinking. Literally like, oh my God, how is this match gonna go? She ended up coming to me right before we went out, and she said, "Don't be scared of me. Give me everything that you have. Fight like this is your last fight, because I'm gonna fight like this is mine." And that gave me the confidence to just let go and completely give it my all with her. I wasn't scared to hit her, connect with her, and show my aggression. I knew she wasn't gonna take it in a way that some women, when you are too aggressive, they think you're trying to hurt them.
Right.
But she made sure that I knew, hey, I know where you're coming from. I know you're not trying to hurt me. And I know you want to give it your best. So do just that. And I did just that. And the match actually ended up real good. It was amazing. And I was surprised. And from that moment, my confidence shot up. I said, I'm here. Sierra Breeze is here, baby.
There it is. And definitely check out Sierra Breeze every Saturday on your local listings for a while. Definitely. And I believe you can watch it like the week before on YouTube. But just Google it. It's all there. WoW is definitely a great promotion that you should check out. But another one you should check out too is BGW. So tell me a little bit about that. I saw a little bit about your performance. I love the things that they're doing over there. So tell me a little bit about that promotion.
BGW stands for Blk Girlz Wrestle. It is run by Omega Heart, and that guy is an absolute heart. He's literally his name. I remember speaking to him and us being on the phone for hours, simply talking about the direction that I want to go in, how I felt at NXT. Like he was kind of the first person that I actually opened up to and broke down my true feelings about like what I was going through and what I expected for myself. And he helped me so much mentally understand the wrestling world, understand how I could fit in, and understand how to portray myself so that everybody could understand where I was coming from. Omega he's creating something right now that I think a lot of women of color, and not just women of color, just women period. I think he's creating a brand that a lot of women can be a part of and truthfully feel comfortable in. And it's run by a Black man. You know what I mean? Like he's creating something that's solely women. Anytime a man is doing something that's solely women, it could go either or ways. You could feel very uncomfortable. You could feel in a lot of negative ways, but he is ensuring that we all understand his vision. We all on the same page. He goes above and beyond for us. He literally makes sure we are good. Sometimes he'll call me and say, hey, did you eat today? Did you nourish yourself? Make sure you're doing this for yourself. Make sure you talking to this person. Make sure this person sees you. Like, he is literally checking all the boxes that I might have overlooked. And I feel so confident saying that I would work with him anytime he calls me. Like, I'll pick up that phone immediately and sit on the phone for hours and speak to him, because I know he is trying to build something that is actually beneficial to a lot of people in this world.
Right.
Blk Girlz Wrestling is is small. It's starting small. Our first match was Casey Lennox, Maya World, and I. I was the
Mhm.
special guest enforcer for the match because he knew I was not gonna go for no cheating. No, no, no,
Uh,
no. But I guess I ended up being the person that cheated. But I was completely out of my. I was completely out of my control.
uh,
I did not know Maya was gonna be in the way of my kick. And my kicks are so accurate. I'm not kicking you on your neck. I'm kicking you right here to knock you out. I cannot help it. I'm just lethal. Okay, I just like to be a lethal person.
okay, so now here we are. We're in the middle or the midst of 2024. You're doing a lot of great stuff, and you know, like you said, you're open to going back to WWE. But what I'm seeing now is there's just so many different opportunities, indie wise, travel wise, etc. That you know that will come eventually. But as far as you as a wrestler, one, what are the goals? And then you personally, outside of wrestling, what are the goals?
So my first goal is to expand my name. I want everybody to know Kaylia Capri. And when I say everybody, I mean in the Bahamas, in Jamaica, in Trinidad, in Europe, in Brazil, in the United States, in Canada. I want everyone to know my name. That's the first thing. And I want them to know me not because I'm beautiful. I get it. I'm a beautiful woman. And when I get dressed up with my blonde wig and stuff, it gets even more, unbearable. But at the same time, I want people to understand that they're going to respect the craft. They're going to tune in and they're going to watch because they are absolutely invested. That was the
Mm-hmm.
one thing Coach Smiley used to say that always resonated me. People need to be invested. When they walk past, they need to be so locked in on you that they trip and fall and then hit
Mm-hmm.
their face because they're so invested in you. And that is my goal. How do I make Kaylia Capri a character that people can invest in? And not just invest in because of my company. Because I think when it comes to the WWE, oftentimes it's easy for people to just follow you on social media. It's easy for people to like your picture because WWE is that brand that is putting you on a platform to millions of people. It's naturally gonna happen. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not saying that these people are invested in you as a character to the point where anywhere you go, they're gonna follow you. I'm telling you, when I left WWE, my support went down. All of the 2,000 likes that I got easily, now I have to work for it. All of
Mm.
them three, you know what I mean? Now it's I have to find out who's really invested in me. I have to figure that out for myself, and that's what WWE kind of doesn't like. Make sure people realize that if you leave our brand, our audience isn't gonna leave us. They're gonna stay and they're gonna support whoever we bring on this brand.
Right.
So you as a person need to be a brand of your own so that if you leave WWE, they're gonna follow me to WOW. They're gonna follow me to ACW. They're gonna follow me to BGW. They're gonna follow me to France. They're gonna follow me wherever I go. I think people
Mm-hmm.
like Mercedes, she has did that for herself. She has created a brand for herself that anywhere she goes, everybody's gonna follow her because they so invested in her story.
And then what personally are your goals?
So my personal goals is once again to build my brand. I want to be able to have 100 million followers on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, 100 million followers that actually care about Kaylia Capri and they want to be a part of Kaylia Capri's story, despite the brand. I also want to build myself up on these promotions to the point where I'm the top dog. I want to be the top dog. I want when people come to WoW Superheroes that all respect to Princess Aussie, all respect to the Beast, all respect to Candy Crush and Coach and Glitter. But I want to be the top dog. I want everyone to be scared of me. I want them to come to me and shake my hand and say, "Hey, I want to take your title," so that I can shake their hand back and say, "Hey, you're not going to do that." I want to be an impactful person in this wrestling world that when a move is said, when someone says a specific move, they like that's Kaylia Capri's move, and no one
Okay.
can do it like that's her brand. You can't take that from her. That's why I have my signature Capri Sun. I think everybody does a leg drop, but it's the way that I do my leg drop. I present my leg drop, and I'm so springy that I use my track abilities to my advantage. That's why I love just rolling and springing up, because not many women can do that. Like, I got good knees. Okay, I got real good knees. I be dancing all the time. I be dropping it low, and I can stay low for a while and bring it up real slow. So I said, you know what? Let me use that to my advantage and show people, hey, my athleticism knows no bounds. And I want to be able to work with people like Alicia Fox. I want to be able to work with people like Queen Amanat. I want to be able to work with people like Mercedes Monet, and I want to have their stamp. I want them to see me and say, hey, I just called my promotion and told them that I want to wrestle you. I want to wrestle you, because not only do I know what you're doing, I know what we get put together is going to be so impactful to those people that they going to want to fill the seat, that people going to be doubling up on the same seats. I want to be so impactful. It starts with the social media. It begins with the social media, and I'm slowly building myself. I'm very happy. I don't know if you've seen, I had a video from me in training that is almost at 80K views. And for someone who's not being pushed by a big company to be able to almost get 80K people invested is extremely like impressive. Because that shows, once again, I don't need a company. A company needs me. I am a brand all on my own, that I created all on my own. And I'm an individual that you need to treat like I have some work. So my goal is literally to build up my Instagram. I want to be at 100K. And I think I can be at 100K, especially because I'm waiting on WOW to put out my debut. And once they do, I think that through God, that first match was amazing. And I think once that gets posted, my social media is going to blow up. It's going to circulate. I could see that being a meme. I could see people saying it's Friday, mood when it's Thursday, Friday flying into Thursday, like, you know, like things like that. And then I also have other matches on WOW too that I think is going to be so impressive. I think my look on WOW is very different than a lot of the other women. My energy on WOW is so much different than a lot of the other women. So I think I could really reap the rewards of being at a promotion like WOW. And I go back again in a couple months to film again. And now that I actually, and this is the craziest thing, like, people are kind of behind on my journey. I'm in today, and I know what's in my mind now. I know how I want to look. I know what I want to present to people now. But back then, I was just figuring it out. They're gonna see my struggle, my journey, and my process, and they're gonna see how I jumped the levels super, super fast without even thinking, like without even in the blink of an eye. Now I have a signature move. I have two signature moves. I have my bulldog off the ropes, which I love to call diving conk. In the Bahamas, we dive conk. So boom, you dive and conk. And then my second one is my Capri Sun leg drop. And I love doing that move because it's perfect for it. When they post the 6 women for Philly Mania, my favorite part of it was when Amira was coming back into the ring. And I had just seen her. I spotted her from behind the ref. I said, ref, move. You in the way. Amira coming in. I can't let this girl, I cannot let her get up. And I just instinctively did the Capri Sun. And I was like, is she dead? Is she still alive after that one? Like, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And that's when I really clicked and said, wow, I'm becoming somebody who I dreamt about. Like, sometimes I would go to sleep at night and I would literally, like, unknowingly, unconsciously dream of a whole match of Kaylia Capri. But she is in a ring. She is performing for 100,000 people, and she is listening to 100,000 people screaming her name. Literally, like, happy to see her. The ultimate baby face. Like, I don't even try to be a baby face. I'm just a natural baby face at heart. The things I stand for, the things that I feel, the things that go on in my mind, I'm for people. I want people to grow, and I want people to love themselves. And I know it helps them to love themselves when I show them how much I love myself and how much I
Mm-hmm.
commit to my morals, and I commit to my everything that I stand for. And I know how that helps other people, because when they see that, they're like, you know what? If she could do it, I could do it. And that's what I want. I want so much people to look up to me and say, she has inspired me to invest in myself and improve myself and stick to my convictions and believe in myself. A lot of times people fall short because they don't believe in themselves. And I
Right.
was one of those people. So I want people to know, like, you could start off not believing in yourself, but when you finish this journey, make sure you 100% betting on you.
There it is. That's the perfect way to end right there. With that
Yeah.
being said, because I already know we're going to come back around and you're going to be doing a million other great things. So we're going to have to do a part 2 to this. But with that
Yeah.
being said, where can people follow you and find you?
So you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram name is __LEXINI. Kaylia Capri is my name on Instagram. You can also follow me on every other social media, TikTok __LEXINI. And my Twitter is Lex is back. LEXIZBACK 242. Y'all already know. Kaylia Capri, anywhere across the board. Y'all can always find me. Look up to the sky and always hail the Capri Sun.
Oh, there it is. With that being said, you guys can follow me. Thank you so much, Kaylia, for coming on. You guys can follow me everywhere at TK Trinidad. Make sure you check out Women's Wrestling Talk on all social media platforms at WWE Talk Pod. Thank you guys so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao for now.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.